Hello, my name is Derek of Geocaching Scouts UK, and today we're here at Hockley Woods to show you the sport of geocaching. For those that don't know what geocaching is, it's a high-tech treasure hunting game using GPS technology. What we'll be looking for today, guys, is something along these lines. This is a geocache. When we find one, which will be well hidden, we have inside a logbook. Always really nice to sign this, guys. The geocacher always likes to see who's visited. Also, we have in here some swappable items. Simple rule with these, guys, you can't swap money or food, and it's really nice if you leave something you think someone else might like. Geocaches don't always take this form. There are some other types as well. This clever hide is actually a stick, but it's been converted into a geocache, and all we have hidden away in here is a logbook. This is one of my favourites. This is a magnetic snail. Stuck on a fence, it just looks like an ordinary snail, makes it really difficult to find. When you found it, inside you open it up and you can see there's a very small logbook in there. Not easy to sign, that one. It can be stones. Key safes make really good geocaches. And of course inside there we've got the logbook. Bison catches are very common. You get them in lots of different colours. This camouflage one, very hard to find again. So geocaching can be quite challenging, and that's the fun of the sport. Also here, guys, this is a leaf cache that's been built. This is a homemade one. But as you can imagine, if you put this in an ivy tree, a very tricky find. When you go geocaching, it's always best to take a few basics with you. You need GPS technology. That can just as easily be your mobile phone. You can get an app, and the app is actually free. Other good things to take with you is obviously a pen to sign the logbook, some weatherproof clothing for the conditions that you may encounter while you're out caching, and obviously if it's a really lovely sunny day, which it's not today, use a bit of sun cream. Here we have some batteries as well, always very handy to take for your GPS. You're reliant on your GPS till you get there, so if your batteries run out, it's always really handy to have a backup pair. Also, guys, lots of little fun bits of kit that go with geocaching. This is my caching kit, and it's really fun to make your own. As you can see, lots of things to look for clever hides. This particular device is quite easy, obvious what it does. You can look for the smallest of caches with something like this. In there we also have a little pair of tweezers for getting the logbook out. And one of my favourites, or most useful for the very small micro caches, which we'll discuss later in this presentation. This is a logbook roller, and what these do is you put the little bit of paper in, turn that, and that will twist the logbook up really small so you can get it back inside the micro cache, because they can be quite challenging to put in. Obviously safety things, compass, a small utility. We've got ourselves a whistle here, which obviously you can shout a long way, guys, but if you actually need help, a whistle can make a noise from a lot further away. And of course a torch for night caching. You don't have to go caching during the day, you can go at night. This adventure has lots of sides to it. And now, guys, we're going to head off, and we're actually going to go in the woods and find a cache. So here we are, guys, walking down towards the geocache using the technology of the GPS to guide us. It's very important to travel along and stay on the paths. You might find obstacles in the way, If you're on a campsite, you definitely shouldn't be going through their camps to find your geocache. You should be walking around. The GPS will be throwing out a little bit as you avoid the item in the way. But once you've walked along a little way, it'll become quite obvious by the arrow which path you need to take next. Hi guys, here we are nearly at the geocache. It now says we're within 10 metres of the cache. The GPS technology may not be more accurate than that, and as you can see, it leaves quite a big area to search in. There are certain things that can help you find that. A GPS like this has a compass built into it. A cheaper GPS like a Garmin eTrex 10 works out your position by working out where you were and where you're going to, so it only points the right direction to the cache when you're on the move. If you get to a cache and you're using one of those, you'll need to walk into the area till it's nearly zero. You're probably in the right spot at that stage, but if you want to check, you can walk back out, guys. You can walk back in, and that will help the GPS readjust itself so it's pointing to the cache. The other thing to bear in mind here is GPS technology isn't 100% accurate. It gets you to the right place, but obviously there's a lot of space still left to look in. All geocaches, like I'm now using the geocaching app on the iPhone. If you go into the cache information, there's a little button here that says View Hint. So I'm looking at that now, and it says look inside the hollow. Please put back in the tree where you found it. That's good advice, guys. Always put a geocache back exactly where you found it. And remember the muggles, guys. For those that don't know about muggles, they're the non-geocaching people that wouldn't understand what you're doing. If they find the cache, they'll probably just ruin it. So sneak in, sneak out, a little bit of stealth required. So now we're heading into the area, and I think already with my geocaching experience we've got a good idea where we're going to find this cache, plus it's mine. So look up inside the hollow, pretty easy, guys. We've looked around, there's a hollow here. As you can see, there's not really much sign that there's a cache here, but we look up inside the hollow, and here it is. We have now successfully found our geocache. Okay, guys, so we're going to take a look at what we found. As you can see, this is a scouting cache, so we've got this Geocaching Scout UK sign on it. Also officially logged, has had quite a lot of visitors. So we're opening up the cache, and as we expected, we found the logbook. Cool. So let's just have a look inside the log. You'll notice it's also in plastic to stop it getting damp, and it has had hundreds and hundreds of visitors, and this is really nice for a geocacher to come along and see some of this stuff. There's all sorts of messages in here from geocachers, and this of course is one of my favourites. I'll be running this again next week. This particular one, which I can't believe I just come across this, is Belchamps Indoor Badge Weekend of Geocaching Scouts. So last year at Belchamps we ran a geocaching badge for the Scouts. We'll be doing the same this year. In fact, they could well be watching this video. But as you can see, lots and lots of people visited this cache. So I'm very happy with this logbook, and of course it has a message on there which is something we should all follow, guys. When we find a geocache, we always put it back exactly where we found it. This is called a stash card, guys. These are downloadable off the website, and what that does is explain to non-geocachers what they've just found and ask them very politely to put it back, and also invites them to join in with this wonderful sport. Just going to have a little go through our tin. As you can see, lots of swappables. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it looks pretty cool. Someone might have been here at Christmas because we had, looks like a Christmas toy. A pencil sharpener, which would be handy in a cache, but wasn't put in there by me. And the tape thing. You just never know exactly what you're going to find in a cache. Well, I'm also, while I'm here, going to do some maintenance. But one of my favourite bits of geocaching is the trackable. The trackable is basically the geocaching version of the game piece. Like your chess piece in a game, they're moved from place to place. This particular one was given to me at Jamboree, and I'm now going to place this in this geocache for someone else to find. The next geocacher that comes along, I'm sure will be very happy to become part of its journey. He takes it home, logs it on geocaching.com, and next time he goes out caching, he'll mark it as dropped off, as I will when I get in. So that's a really nice thing to do. We're just going to place that in there. I'm going to return the geocache exactly where I found it, guys, but we're going to go further into the presentation, and I'm sure you're going to learn much more about this sport.